closely. It says, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, right? And gave also unto what? That means he got to be close enough to give a piece, right? Which means that he was being silent. Are y'all here? He was being silent. Do you realize, and I mentioned this the other week when I told y'all I was teaching at a school with very affluent children, and a young boy was contemplating suicide because he never heard his father say that he was proud of him. Do you know that when a hitman wants to take somebody out and not be detected, they put a on the gun? And what I'm saying to you is silence can kill more relationships than we realize. Because oftentimes people are not only broken by the words that were said, but many times we seal their faith by the words we fail to say. Are y'all hearing? If we know the description says that life and death is in the power of the tongue, then what did you allow to die that could have lived if you just spoke up? Are y'all hearing? There are children whose self-esteem is in the cemetery because the proper people did not speak life to their greatness. So people die prematurely because nobody resurrected purpose with just their words. And so I'm saying to you is, while this serpent is talking, Adam is silent. So how can we all beat up on Eve for listening when he too didn't say a word? Look at me and say, we got to be balanced. And so right here, it says here, in the eyes of them both were open and they knew that they were naked. Now this is clear. When it says they knew they were naked, what I'm talking about is when they were exposed to something that they should not have been exposed to, their perspective was changed. Y'all follow? They begin to see things they weren't ready to see. It kind of brings me to this world today with internet and social media, where children are exposed to things they should not have seen. As a person who teaches in an alternative school, and I deal with children that come from extreme circumstances, it's the embodiment of this right here. They witnessed and seen some stuff at a young age, and they'll forever never be a child again. But still at the age of a child, but their experiences of adult, in a mind that's not mature enough to handle adult situations. And so what I'm saying to you is that oftentimes, we don't recognize that if you're going to be in a relationship, it is a risk. Watch this. My next point. Watch this. Know and accept this truth. When you love someone, you become open to harm and attack. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you will improve who you accept. What I'm saying to that is, when we are under this impression that you can love and never put yourself in danger, you're deceived. The very act of love makes you vulnerable. Y'all follow what I'm saying? The very act of love from God put the Son of God on a cross. So if God was threatened by the prospect of love, what do you think you are? So I just want you to accept it. I'm not saying that's the end, but just be real. That if you're going to love, you got to be open. I say that because some people have started relationships open, but somewhere in the midst and after pain, you stop being open. And you did it sometimes for the best of reasons. Can we be honest? Some of us have been wounded. Some of us have been hurt. So out of the protection of yourself, you shield people out. But here's what you don't realize. You are now creating a non-reciprocal relationship. So because somebody is bleeding everything out to you, but you're not giving them what they're giving you. So while you're supposed to be protecting yourself, you're actually doing a disservice to the person you're with. For all the right reasons. Because, hey, I was hurt. Y'all follow what I'm saying? This happens not only in dating situations, but this happens even in marriage, where somehow we go through something and we no longer communicate how we feel. We no longer say what's on our mind. We no longer express our pain, and we think it's okay. But in reality, you're shutting out the people that you're trying to keep in your life. But what I mean by this part right here is when you act like you're never going to be a person that opens yourself up, you actually do open yourself up for some foolishness you don't need in your life. Because you're operating under deception. And what people don't understand, when you operate under deception, the person who gets deceived in the end is always you.
That's right.
And so the reality is, when I say the sooner you accept this, the sooner you will improve who you accept, meaning that when you realize just how much your heart is wide open, you will really gauge who you give them digits to and who you allow into your space. Again, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. Do you know friendships can be toxic? In the Bible, there's a very famous story. When Solomon's wisdom was being tested, there were two women who lived together, both had children, but one turned over in the night and smothered her child and killed him, suffocated him. And she, in the middle of the night, switched her dead child with her roommate's living child. And when, of course, the mother woke up, she was like, "This is my baby." And the one who did the switching was like, "That's yours." And it's like, nah, you know. And so they end up going to court. And they go to Solomon. And Solomon, in his infinite wisdom, he said, well, this is what we'll do. He said, since you're saying it's your baby, you're saying it's your baby, then we're going to cut the baby in half and give y'all both a piece. And then y'all can go home. And of course, the one who it wasn't her child was like, yeah, go ahead. The one whose child it was said, no, I'd rather the child live, even if it's not with me. And Solomon says, well, there you have it. This must be the real mother. Because a real mother would not have allowed this to happen to their own child. I'm saying that to say that I usually, when I'm doing a series, I did this series around Halloween one time, about having vampires in relationships, in friendships. I mean, people who suck you dry. Leeches. Who are going through, and let me tell you something, not everybody who has a vampire relationship with people, they didn't always start out evil. But some people have not been healed from their pain, and they don't realize when they are the misery destroying company. And they go around trying to suck the joy and the life out of other people's lives. They always got something negative to say or a negative comment, and it's like, my goodness, what's wrong with you? They can't handle it. And so what I'm saying to you is, sometimes you got family and friends who can be toxic. And their words can be something you just can't hear right now because you're trying to get focused. Y'all follow what I'm saying? There's a difference between constructive criticism and haterade. Constructive criticism comes out of a place of love. But haterade comes out of a place of pain. And so what I'm saying to you is, just realize, even if you've been in a relationship that has lasted a long time, if it's going to last, continue to last, you got to have to accept the fact you got to be open and be willing to be hurt. You got to be willing to risk being hurt. Jesus shows us held high and stretched wide. See, we love to talk about Jesus in a religious sense, but not when it comes to real life situations. Next week I'll be talking about, it says, husbands, love your wives the way that Christ loved the church. Do you know what that means? What Christ went through for the church? Are you ready for that, my brother? When you put that ring on her finger, that you're ready to do the cross for her? To walk through a line of soldiers that are hitting you upside of the head and be beaten till they can't recognize you because you profess your love? You have your hands nailed and your feet nailed so you can't touch what you want to touch or go where you want to go because my woman is all I want. That's serious. When we talk about a virtuous woman who does work, cleans up, does her thing, have her own business, and still give a man some shine, are you ready for that? What I'm saying to you is, most people can't go through make the sacrifices necessary for real friendships or real relationships because we're so busy protecting ourselves. And I'm telling you, until you allow yourself to be wounded, you're not ready to love. Because here's the beautiful thing about people who love unconditionally, is that whether it works out or not, they know they did everything they had to do. Y'all follow what I'm saying? See, here's the part that the enemy doesn't tell you when they're saying, protect yourself, protect yourself. And I'm not telling you to be an idiot. But I'm saying, but if you're going to choose to love, then you must love it with everything. But when it ends, first of all, be wise enough to let the Lord bring you out. And know. And you can walk away and never have to look back because you know you did all you were supposed to do. But see, if you know you ain't did it all and you was holding this and taking jabs here, then you're confused. But when you love openly and it just doesn't work out, then you're like, it just doesn't work out. Y'all follow me? My last scripture. So simple. Amos 3:3. Can two walk together without agreeing on the direction? Now, usually the King James Version says, can two walk together unless they be agreed? But I went to the New Living Transformation because I like how it said, without agreeing on the direction. Look at somebody next to you again and say, where are we going? Where are we going? Have y'all ever been in a car with someone and somebody asked that question, what do you want to eat? I know. Can I be honest with y'all? I am that person that you don't want to be in the car with. People who know me well, they know not to ask. I'm not the person. I'm telling you now. We ride around and you ain't already made up your mind. I'm about to bring confusion to the next level. Because I'm the person like, yo, you want to go to Chili's? They're like the fake TGI Fridays. What do you mean? I only did one time. I saw hair in my food. That was 5 years ago. Hey, what about IHOP? The one over there at University? I saw a roach one time. Okay. You said TGI Friday. Let's go to TGI Friday. You feeling them prices though? I'm not the one.
You're going to get a McFeet too.
Because we 20 minutes in now. Gas is spent. I'm that one that said, you know what, we going. You know, the Bible said, lay hands on no man's son. I had a card just for that. Listen. How can two people walk together if we've not been clear about where we're going? Can I be real with y'all? Some of y'all in the vehicle, y'all ain't talking about going nowhere. Sometimes we just glad to be in the car. I'm trying to help somebody. Somebody needs to find out where we at. Sometimes we just get glad to be in the car. You're like, where we going? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, that operates for a little while. But after a while, you got to know where are we going. And don't get it twisted. Don't think because y'all were agreed at one point in the journey that y'all are at agreement at every point in the journey. Let's be very clear. If you got that kind of good GPS, they'll tell you when there's an alternate route because it's too crowded. Traffic over here. It's time to go in another direction. Sometimes y'all can watch this. Sometimes y'all can say you're going to the same place, but y'all got two different ways you want to go. Like when I go up north, you can either take 85, you take 77. Now, if you want to see all kind of troopers and pay tickets and tolls, take 85. When you're going to risk your life on mountains, take 77. Choose your poison. But what I'm saying to you is that you first got to be, there's different points where you got to be clear, where are we headed? Do we agree in the direction that we're taking right now? There's so many people that started journeys, and somewhere down the line, they both started thinking about different destinations but never told each other. Sometimes out of fear. Not every time are things not shared because somebody's trying to be secretive. Sometimes you don't share because you're scared. You're afraid. And you don't discuss things. and say, well, you know, and then we do this thing where I'm going to just go along with it. But let me tell you something. You can never hide the inner you forever. And the things you want out of life are going to reveal themselves sooner or later. And so some people are really, some of us in this room, y'all don't like confrontation, which is good. But y'all take it to levels that's not healthy. Because here's how you, watch this, perspective is everything. You interpret this scripture as, just don't say nothing. That's not what the scripture is saying. Because some people are like, we ain't going to agree if I don't never say nothing.
Wow.
No, that's not the answer. And then, can I be honest? Those who love to over-communicate love to talk loud. Oh, come on. Who really good with their words and how to break stuff down on some debate show status. Oh, no, what, this is how you know you're dealing with somebody you just, well, they be like, okay, go ahead. So what I'm saying to you is, and you know what is also dangerous? Either example of these two things together. It can be dangerous too. If you got two silent people, oh my God. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. 2 weeks go by. That ain't good either. You gotta find a way. That you gotta create a zone. I call it the no judgment zone. Because you gotta have a place where people can say, you know what, I thought we was going in this direction, I thought this was gonna work, but I want to do something else. Or this is gonna change, or I don't know about this. And sometimes we're so afraid of failing that if somebody expresses their fears of something not working out, we see it as an attack. So we get offended. And the Bible says an offended brother is hard to win. Because y'all know, when somebody offended, it's over. Like, it's just like you start a conversation. Listen, I don't want you to get mad. It's over. Y'all know some of you say, I don't want you to get mad. They done. They just got mad. Right? But what I'm saying to you is, you got to create an atmosphere where you say, listen, we got to be able to express fully what's on our mind. We got to be able to express how I'm feeling. You got to be able to adapt. Somebody say adjust. Come on. If you can't adjust, then you're in trouble. If you don't learn to adapt in a relationship, then your flight to Lonely Island has already been booked. And this goes out to the single, to the dating, to the couple, and to the married. Because at some point, everybody's going to want you to show them that you're willing to be flexible. Y'all hear what I'm saying? This is a reality. This goes out for friendships. You got to be willing to adapt. It can't be your way all the time. Right? But can I tell y'all something? I know people, you got to be, watch this, not even this. You got to know when, you got to know yourself. You got to know when you're now swinging too far in the opposite direction. This is what I mean. I know people who used to be, like, I know women who used to be so giving, so flexible. What you want to do, okay, they'll default, whatever he wants to do, whatever. And after that being, them getting drugged in the mud by that, then they transform into, oh, this what we gonna do. And you ain't gonna do this my way or the highway. Or they like, oh, you don't want to do that? Bye-bye. You're replaceable. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, you gotta notice when you swung so far because you reeling off the pain. Y'all follow what I'm saying? And come on, don't act like guys don't do it too. I know some guys that used to be good guys. They used to be good. Loving, send flowers, you know what I mean? Giving compliments. They got drugged, they got the wrong ones. Now, they on some August Alsina, no love. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I don't love them. I'm like, son, You know what? We as Christians, the only people that justify bipolar behavior. Like, we want to be super Christian and gangster at the same time. Like, I love Jesus, but don't play. No. You know what I'm saying? I ain't picking on y'all, because I ain't saying I ain't struggling with a little bipolar devil. No. But that devil gonna try me sometimes. It's like people walk up to you and be like, you a Christian, you're not supposed to hit back. I like, don't test that theory, son. We about to find out how much Jesus I still don't have. But I'm saying, y'all, that sometimes you're so busy reeling off of whatever failures, flaws, or mistakes you made in the past that you now can't even see that you've become the very thing you despise. So watch yourself. You got to be more careful. Everybody stand to this.